Thank you for pressing start on episode 93 of Underplayed, KZUM's indie video game podcast. Today we have 2 secret games, followed by a review of our featured game, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. Here on Underplayed, we review indie games of all kinds, the games with small budgets but big hearts, the lesser-known experiences with imaginative ideas. I'm Bo Poe, and I have a co-host. What's better than that? He's shaking his cake in Human Fall Flat, powering his radio with the turn of a crank, and playing through games till the backlog is blank. It's the 1,000 times resistant, Google form insistent, funky member of the Bomb Rush crew, DiscoCola. How do you do?
I'm a little stressed. I had to break through so many paywalls just to get here. And now I'm broke, but I'm here. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. My co-host surrounded by a swarm of 48 bees, not 47, not 49, 48.
Exactly.
Exactly. Those are references to our featured game, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, a spinoff from Yooka-Laylee, which we have reviewed on our show. It's been quite a few seasons now since we've reviewed that. And so now we're going with the follow-up as a featured game. It's been a long time coming, and I'm excited to talk about that with you.
I half expected you to forget that you did this when we did the Yooka-Laylee episode and just do the,
Aw, damn it. But you know what? You don't hear the voices. You don't hear their
not too often
as
only,
much in Impossible Lair.
That's
but
true.
yeah, I got pretty good at practicing that. And during Impossible Lair, I did actually have some times where I would, just to myself, I would do a vocal stem of mentioning the swarm of bees, always a good choice too.
Yeah.
Wanted to call out the fact that we have a special guest joining us, not just the next episode, but the same special guest joining us for the following 2 episodes.
Yeah, this is the first time we're doubling up on a guest. For the most part, you could kind of count that like April Fool's episode as a return guest, maybe
in a way.
Yeah, but this is the first time in a proper Underplayed episode where we've got the same guest coming back for seconds.
Yes, and our guest will be Jenny Olander, who you can find on KZUM's Lavender Hill. Is there anything you want to share about Jenny to help give listeners a preview?
Just that she's been the unofficial co-host on Lavender Hill for a good number of years, but officially became like a certified radio host within the last year. And when I was going through that training with her, I found out that I would reference Celeste maybe, or reference some other indie video game, and she was just like lighting up in the back of the room. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, we have an indie game fan in the room, so.
That's great. That's kind of how we got connected to Jenny.
Yeah, and it's not often that there are indie game fans, let alone video game fans, in the big umbrella of the KZUM family.
Yeah, so it's cool because we record this podcast in the studios of KZUM, and we actually get to have an on-air host joining us on the show for the very first time. So yeah, it's a rare opportunity and one we're really looking forward to. So next episode, you can expect us to cover Coffee Talk with Jenny Olander. We're also going to talk to Jenny about her interests, her gaming tastes, a little bit about Lavender Hill and anything else Jenny wants to share with us. And then on the following episode, which would be episode 95, we will cover Coffee Talk episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly with Jenny Olander. So yeah, very much looking forward to that duo. Episodes.
It'll be a fun something we've never done before.
It's the month of Jenny.
Yeah,
because we have our episodes coming out every 2 weeks. So prepare yourselves for an awesome duo of episodes. Also, I wanted to shout out a recent opportunity that I am actually still involved in, but we're quite a ways in now. And by the time this episode's out, it will be the final week that I'm involved with this event. The event is called the Scoop Olympics, and it's put on by our friend Tom Scoop. And the Scoop Olympics is an online gaming event where people can form teams of up to 5 people. Tom has a Discord server for everybody involved, and every week has a theme. The first week is Indie Games Week. The second week was Co-op Chaos. The third week was Winter Games Week. The fourth week is Comfort Games Week. And the fifth week is Retro Games Week. And so every week of the event, players participating can play games to earn points. So you're just trying to play games and earn points and track what you're playing and also collaborate with people and get to know people. And through this event, I've gotten to meet lots of really fun people. I've formed a team with several friends, including our friends Dave, Kess, Grace, and Jake. And I've had a lot of fun with them. I wanted to shout out during Indie Games Week, I saw lots of people jumping into like big indies for the first time. I saw people playing games like Grease for the first time. Mm-hmm. Our friend Kess played A Short Hike for the first time during that week, which was cool. I saw lots of people playing all kinds of things, a lot of things I've never heard of. One game I got to play during this week was a game you've played, Disco.
Oh, that's right.
And it was Ooh,
you got to hang out with Bridget.
I got to hang out with Bridget. Yes, it was so fun. I loved that game so much. I think it is so intelligent and so smart. I just feel like I'm learning a lot with the game, just intelligently telling me what to do without telling me what to do. It's so cool.
I'm a little pissed at how quickly you figured out the whole like momentum through the door thing.
Oh yes, through the warp gates or whatever.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm a little peeved that you caught on to that as quick as you did. But
there's a trick to everything. There's a trick to every new gimmick, and you have to figure out what that trick is. And it makes me want to play Electhead now.
Electhead's great.
I really want to play.
I think it's easier personally, but
Electhead's easier than
think
Ooh?
So.
Wow. Okay. I should play that soon. But anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to Tom Scoop and the Scoop Olympics. Tom wants to do the Scoop Olympics again. I don't know if it'll be in a year or 2 years' time, but it will be sometime in the future. Disco, also, I heard that you got a certain gaming platinum under your belt.
That's right. I've been slowly chipping away at this. This is my like game I play when I'm too messed up to keep playing the assignment. I'll go back to Elsie and I'll try to knock out that platinum. And I finally did it. I had to buy every single item, and the roadblock that I didn't realize I had there, because I thought I had purchased everything, and I thought it was like, no, you have to actually purchase the stuff in the runs because my trophy didn't pop. Mm-hmm. The issue is that there's a second playable character, which I think you have from the beginning, but I never played as him, didn't want to play as him, but you have to play as him to get certain things to show up in the shop.
Oh, so you don't have to buy like everything again. You just need certain things to show up.
Yeah, I needed to play like half a dozen, maybe 7 runs with Andrew, the other playable character, so I could get the blueprints and then buy, get all the money I needed to buy those extra items that are available for him.
When you said there was another character, I immediately thought, oh no, he had to buy all the items again with another character. No. Sometimes that's the case.
Just in the lobby, you go interact with him and they swap places. Okay. That's all it is. I didn't like playing as Andrew, but I did it to get what I needed. Now I can play as Elsie again, and I got the platinum.
So total hour count to get the Elsie plat, what would you say?
PS5 says it was 58 hours.
Holy moly.
Now, I don't know how many of those hours are me just like playing runs, because it's like, I don't know how to make this last trophy pop. But,
sure.
So give or take 4 hours, I think.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, Disco, because you got a platinum in such a big game, we're going to give you a little reward now. I present to you your trophy.
Give it to me, baby. That's still nice.
Oh, that wasn't very good.
And it still gets the break.
Oh, there you go. There's. Forget that one. Sorry.
Goodness gracious.
Might have to lower the gain of those when I edit, because that seemed a little loud.
I do is gain, baby.
All you do is gain. Well, we're going to move on. But before we do, there are a few very easy ways to support Underplayed. They cost nothing and they take almost no time at all. We would really appreciate you doing these things for us if you have not already. 1, you can give us a follow and a 5-star rating on podcast platforms. That would make us appear more consistently for you and for others. 2, you can follow us across social media using the links in our show notes. And 3, sharing our podcast by reposting our stuff on social media, and telling your indie game loving friends about us means the world. And as always, we love you. Thank you for listening. It's time for our secret games.
Secret games. Secret games. Secret games. Secret games.
In Secret Games, we're each going to reveal a game we've been playing in secret, and then we're going to review those games. We don't talk about what we're playing at all. We pick games that we haven't talked about on Underplayed before, and we present them as reviews to each other and to you, the listeners. So we will start with you, DiscoCola. Let the mystery be no more. Reveal your secret game for episode 93 of Underplayed.
My secret game is a buddy duo platformer with collectathon elements from developer Weatherfell and published by Top Hat Games. And the name of this game is Windswept.
Oh my gosh, I have Windswept. It's in my backlog.
Nice.
I am very excited that you played this.
Cool.
Awesome. This may be my jealous game of the season.
It is quite a Bopo game. I think I have quite a few Bopo games this season, but this is one of them.
Oh, I'm so excited. Also, if memory serves, this is a game I called out as a game I'm looking forward to in a past season.
Is that right?
When we do that every season,
Okay.
Yes.
Well, sorry to have taken it from you.
It's
I
okay.
did not recall.
I actually had no plans to play it anytime soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I noticed in the game, the two player characters aren't named, but when you start the game, you hatch from an egg as the mallard, who, according to Steam, is named Marbles. And
I love a name
yeah,
that is not
just
present anywhere in the game.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, I didn't see it anywhere. While going through the tutorial level, you find a lost turtle sitting on its back, and this turtle is apparently named Checkers. And they're going to join you on your way to find your way through 5 worlds to ultimately make it home, meeting others affected by the same storm that blew Marbles and Checkers away from home. This game takes inspiration from Donkey Kong Country games, and maybe even a layer deeper, it might be inspired by today's featured game. In Windswept, you can swap between Checkers and Marbles as the lead character. Each character has a different moveset to help you navigate the various levels and platforming challenges. Additionally, each character has unique abilities as an assist character. So, for example, when you're playing as Marbles, you have access to like a glide when you jump, and then you can use Checkers in an assist role as sort of like a projectile. You just throw him in his shell as a projectile.
Cool.
Conversely, Checkers has access to a ground pound that Marbles doesn't have. But when using Marbles as an assist character, you can throw them upward as a not so double jump. It just gives you a little bit of extra height or a little bit of extra arc in your jump or your fall. So that's just some example of how switching lead characters makes a difference. Your primary goal in the game is platforming based, just trying to get through the game. However, along the way, there are tons of collectibles. You will find little star coins. Think of these as like Mario coins. I don't actually know what these are for right now. I have about 7,000 of them, but
Wait, what? Okay.
I haven't found a place to use them yet.
Huh. You would think they're used to buy something.
Well, and if you're watching the trailer that I sent you, I think there's stuff that you can buy, but I never got access to whatever that room is.
Okay.
So I have them. I don't know what they're for.
You're ready to buy whatever.
I'm ready to buy stuff.
Yeah.
You can also find cloud medals. These are often well hidden and involve like a crazy platforming challenge, or they're just either well hidden or you have to like do something crazy to reach them. These are used after the final boss, and it seems that once you've collected all of them, you'll be able to platform up to some special area. There's like 40 something in the game, And there's like a level on the level selection screen. You go there, and like all of the different cloud coins turn into cloud platforms.
Oh, so you're still working your way up to that secret area.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I am working my way up to that secret
gotcha.
area. I have 7 cloud coins, so I got to like get the point.
Got it.
Yeah. You can find moon medallions. These are acquired after accomplishing special challenges that ask you to maybe solve a puzzle or defeat all of the bad guys in a room or reach the goal in a certain time limit. These can be turned in at multiple different levels referred to as Lamp's Shade. Lamp is a moth and has like
I love it.
his fort. He has like a fort in each one of the different worlds.
Yep.
And so when you turn in the requested amount of coins, which again, I only did one time, it seems to open a new and challenging level.
Okay.
But
yep.
based on the trailer, he also is doing other stuff and might be who you buy stuff from. So
Yeah.
I didn't see all of what Lamp has to offer.
Yeah, those little goals within the levels, like reach the goal, beat the baddies. That's something you see in Donkey Kong Country games.
Yeah.
I mean, that especially, I think back to Donkey Kong Country 2, you would just find those sprinkled throughout the stages, and you have this like short little room
Yeah.
where you solve a puzzle, or you collect the coins.
Yeah, do a thing.
You react quickly.
Yes.
Often, yes.
Yeah. Lastly, but most common, you will find 5 coins in each level that spell out the word comet. If you collect all 5, they will turn into a comet medallion that you can collect at the end goal of the level.
Hmm.
I don't know what these do in the long run.
Okay, so that's taking the Kong letters
Yeah.
and doing something more.
Yes.
Because Kong letters would just give you like a 1-up usually in Donkey Kong Country, but this actually generates something that you collect.
Yes, and it's even possible that you won't be able to reach it once you do get to the end of the level, because it's usually like high enough that it's out of range for a single jump. You have to do something special
a
to
trick,
reach
yes.
it. It's not like crazy, but you have to either have both characters active.
I see what they're doing there. So that's, sorry to keep interjecting with all the Donkey Kong comparisons, but that's like the DK coins, the big DK coins that you'd get in some of the Donkey Kong Country games. You'd have to do a special maneuver or a little puzzle to get them. And sometimes you didn't have the right character. And so you have to revisit the level. Yeah.
Yep. Generally, that's the idea. And that idea translates to all of the cloud coins, everything except for the moon coins. The moon coins will give you everything you need once you access that room, that portal.
Mm-hmm.
So that applies to pretty much all of the other collectibles anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then just as like I don't know how much of a collectible it is, but at the end goal, the end goal itself is, think of like a Mario flagpole, but instead it's like an air pump, and you have to air pump a little pinwheel to the top.
Yep.
You can finish the level just by like hopping on it, but if you get a lot of air and put more weight on it, the pinwheel goes up to the top, and you get like reaching the top of the flagpole in 3D Mario World.
That's cool.
So
that's cool.
There's a lot. There's a lot of like completion you can choose to do or not do.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, buddy duo platforming, collectathon, that's the most of it. Do you have any questions before I move on to likes and dislikes?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Stuff I like about Windswept. I adore the look of this game. I think the pixel art is amazing, especially in terms of like stage elements and backgrounds. Like all the characters and all the baddies are really good, but they're like repeated. You see the same bad guys over and over, but like the backgrounds and the foliage, it just all looks really pretty. All the rocks, all the backgrounds and the skies and the plants. It's just attractive. I love those little challenges that reward you with the moon medals. It's a bunch of these like single room challenges, and most of them are really fun to figure out. So I look forward to actively doing those once I find them. It just can be hard to find all of the different portals that actually take you there. I really like looking for the comet coins as well. It's not only a fun task, but it helps me to know like how far I am within a level, because you collect them in order COMET.
Yep.
If I get the E, even if I missed all the other ones, it's like I found the E and this level's stressing me out. So at least I know I'm near the end of the level.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country was like that too. If you got the N, it's like, okay, I'm probably over halfway.
Yeah.
I'm getting close to the end.
The movement in this game feels really good, especially playing as marbles. The glide is really great. Additionally, the more you combo moves, the greater speed you seem to have. There's like a Penny's Big Breakaway level of level design and momentum in each stage that seems really thoughtful and thought out. It just well designed all across the level, start to finish.
Sounds like there's a strong possibility for speedrunning too,
there
with all the tech.
Most definitely is. Yeah, for sure. Another thing, and perhaps most impressive, and I'm going to assume this is a really underappreciated thing. As far as I can tell, each level can be beaten with just marbles or just checkers.
Oh.
So in this game, you have the duo, right? But if you take damage, you lose the active character. Donkey Kong Country rules, right? And they're lost until you retrieve them from a bubble. Again, just like the barrels that have the friend in them. But the levels are designed in such a way that it seems like each one can be finished solo with either character. So if you lose marbles and you're not finding him, you can still, it seems like you can still get to the end as checkers, just checkers. For me, that's hard because he doesn't have that glide. So you really have to be like a precision platformer, especially in some of the later levels. But it seems like it's possible no matter what.
That's good. You'd probably still be retrying some levels if, you couldn't beat some of them with just one of the two.
Yeah. And I mean, it is still punishing. You did lose a glide, and the glide is a pretty overpowered move in this game, but it can still be done, it seems. And next, I don't know if this is really a praise for the game's merits, but I was playing this for a time in front of my wife and kids, and they all loved it. With the kids, that's really no big surprise, but my wife even said, she was like, just watching you play this makes me want to play this. I feel like I could maybe do it just as well. And to her credit, she was playing like a World 4 level blind, no training, and she actually did pretty damn well.
Wow.
So
nice. That's cool that she got to play.
Yeah.
Love that.
I don't know if she will play some more, but I'll try and encourage it, I guess.
She'll collect all those coins to get to the secret area for you.
If she gets better than me at it, I'll be perfectly fine with that, to be honest. Because this is where I'm going to move into dislikes. As you heard at the top, I don't know what a lot of these collectibles do. It was fun to see what the cloud medallions do at the end of the game, but I don't know what the value is of all the different stuff. All I can do is extrapolate based on how many are available in the game, because I know how many are available in the game. I just don't know what they all do. What do the stars do? I still don't know. Next, I have trouble with the control layout. So for an example, you swap your lead character with circle on PlayStation, and then you prime your assist character move with triangle. But I get those two confused, and then when your assist attack is primed, I instinctively press square, which is the regular attack button, but you're supposed to press triangle again to use the assist attack. So it's like you have two different attack buttons. And I can't always get it right. And I stumble a lot.
I played the demo for Windswept, and I remember fiddling with things a little bit. And I'm only playing for 15 minutes or something when I play a demo, right? So it didn't lock in for me. But I remember thinking like, oh yeah, I got to remember this button. And I would press the wrong button.
Yeah. And it's rare that you're in a situation where fumbling will kill you, but sometimes it will. There are time-based challenges in this game that will they'll get your ass. The game has a lot of movement tech that you can learn. Think of like Celeste, and I would maybe even argue that there is close to, if not more, special movement tech in Windswept than there is in Celeste. However, the difference between this and Celeste is that you can get through Celeste without learning most of those like speedrun level techniques. Whereas in Windswept, there are some sections of the game, especially at the end, that sort of demand that you figured out some of these more advanced techniques that aren't outright taught to you. So you have to like beat your head against the wall and accidentally figure out that checkers can like do an air dash after you do a ground pound and a jump or something.
Yeah, it doesn't always feel the most considerate when maneuvers that you should know aren't taught.
Right.
And I know games like Celeste have lots of advanced maneuvers you can do. Not many of them are required to like get through the game. So even if the game doesn't really teach you, it's fine because you're entering into another league at that point. you're entering into, joining an online community that researches this stuff and
Exactly.
can teach you
Yeah.
in a Discord server or something.
Yeah, and even beyond the like, there's like an S plus tier level of movement tech in this game that I've barely even seen, like didn't even know was possible. So there's that like S tier that's required to get through the latter part of the game, and then there's the S plus stuff that's like speedrunners plus. It's crazy. This leads me to my next and greatest complaint, that the game gets, in my opinion, morbidly hard, especially in World 4 and later. Like Worlds 1 and 3 felt reasonable, rising in difficulty at a reasonable pace. And honestly, I think like World 3 was easier than World 2, but there is an insane difficulty spike between World 3 and 4. You move from the ice world to the lava world, and it was so discouraging.
Damn.
Like before World 4, I was thinking like, oh yeah, I can't wait to go back to these levels, complete the game 100%. But then it got so incredibly difficult that I almost didn't want to finish the game, if I'm honest.
Wow.
Like it felt like it might get impossible for me. I like kept pulling up a YouTube video. I'm like, I'm still an hour away from the game, and I don't know if I can do this. So,
So is this the chapter or the world that you were alluding to in my chat the other day, like when I was streaming? Okay, so I was streaming a game. Disco came in and said, I'm working on a secret game and I'm on the last world, and it's just like, these levels are hard.
Yeah, and I said that there wasn't another world after that. There actually was another smaller world after that. So it was rough. Anyways, all that is to say, the game is a great mix of Donkey Kong Country and all of the games inspired by it. There is an impressive amount of movement tech in this game, but I wish more of it was aimed at just the speedrunners instead of the completionists. I was really hyped until I got near the end of the game, and circling back to the beginning of the game, I found myself performing even better. This game is attractive at every point. The music is also incredibly solid, which I didn't mention. I recommend this to collectathon platformer fans, and again, this does include you. However, if you do play this and you find that World 4 and 5 are reasonable in difficulty, I might get pissed, and just don't tell me if you think it was actually super fair. So all that being said, I give this an 8.0 out of 10.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I think I would really like this. I don't know that I have questions about it, but I looked up some videos while you were talking, and I guess I do have curiosity about little animals that you might be able to befriend or turn into. I'm seeing like a frog, and I'm seeing what is that? I'm seeing like a
mouse, the little mouse from
maybe
the trailer.
It's like an orange little, is that a mouse? Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, it's running in a wheel. What are those moments like?
Don't know.
Okay. Those are moments you haven't seen yet. Okay.
Yeah, I assume this is like, from what the trailer that I sent you, what I assume is you can buy stuff from Lamp, including the ability to play as these other baddies in some level that's designed for them. Okay,
well, that makes me really interested. And with a game like this, I don't necessarily go for 100% completion.
Yeah, I looked at the trophy list and I looked at, the completion rate, and I didn't want to risk it. So I did not play this on my main PlayStation profile.
I'll tell you what, similar indie game that's not like a Donkey Kong or a Mario game that I can think of from recent years is Backloggd and Backloggd Cosmic Canines,
which I do still want to play.
Those are great games, great platformers. They actually have a pixel art style that's not too far off from this. I will say they get really hard with collecting 100% of everything. There are incentives for 100%ing things and secrets that you can unlock for the 100%. I'm not motivated to do that. And so I feel like I would at least want to get credits, beat the 5 worlds, was it? And see how I feel from there.
Yeah. And I didn't mention like the boss fights. The boss fights are all pretty cool. One of them I think is that you get to a certain point. Let me say this. The rule of 3s in terms of boss fights applies. So you bop them 3 times, kind of a thing. One of them betrays that idea, and then also after it betrays that idea, throws a really difficult move at you that is hard to dodge. So you have to, you're like, oh, I finally beat the boss. And then all of a sudden you're dodging something that seems impossible.
It's like the Silk Song bench that's actually booby trapped. You think you're safe and then you're not. Love it. Well, cool. I want to check this out. It's in my backlog. I've actually purchased it. I purchased it on sale. So I'm going to get to this someday. I can see it being my jealous game for the season, but we'll see.
Yeah, most likely. I think most likely it will be that one. We're only halfway through the season.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Windswept can be played on PC, PlayStation 5, which is where I played it, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
It is time for My Secret Game. My Secret Game is also a platformer, but it is a platformer in the 3D style, and it is called Big Hops.
Hey, I watched you play a lot of this.
Yes. So, Big Hops is a 2026 platformer developed and published by Luckshot Games. The game synopsis from the Steam storefront reads, quote, tongue swing, free climb, and build your own path forward in a new kind of 3D platformer. Plant veggie bounce pads, tight ropes, hook shots, and much more. Find a way home through huge desert, ocean, and mountain worlds and collect bugs, upgrade your backpack, and meet animal friends along the way, end quote. So in this game, you play as a frog named Hop, who I am convinced is the embodiment of Generation Alpha. I think Hop is your poster child, like Labubu loving, skibidi toilet, like has all the Riz, put the fries in the bag, bro, little guy, right?
Sure.
He's this little guy.
I know of some of those things.
I understand some of the words you just said. So he's this little guy, and he's in the forest, and he's taken from his home by a trickster named Dis, who has an unclear mission for Hop.
Who I've been calling Vegeta. I'm forcing that into the episode.
Dis is basically Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, for anybody who is aware. You reluctantly assist Dis, but you also discover a way to return home by finding parts to restore an airship. And there's one airship part found in each of the 3 large areas of the game, the Red Desert, the Open Ocean, and the Shattered Mountain. Each of these areas has its own storyline and supporting characters, and this is a platformer, so there's an emphasis on running and jumping, but you also have many other kinds of movement. You're using your tongue to swing. You can slide and roll, and you can jump out of your roll to do a roll jump. You can climb walls with a stamina meter that depletes the longer you climb. You can do a wall run. You have many other mechanics. You have mine carts. You have poles you can climb. You have tight ropes. You have these little like party popper looking things you can jump into that shoot you like a cannon. It's just tons of stuff all over this game. And your tongue is used to grab objects and turn valves, activate levers, even pick locks. You can insert your tongue into locks to unlock them in this game.
That's dirty.
Yes. I've never seen that before in a game. You also use veggies to create new kinds of platforms throughout the world. So you have these mushroom pads that are really bouncy. You have acorns you can throw at the wall to grow vines that you can climb. There are these goo balls that bounce around that gives Hop something to grapple to if he needs to ascend an open space. You have cacti that give you ropes to walk on. There are more than this. It's really hard to mention all the different mechanics and the items you can use to help Hop progress. But all these veggies go in your backpack, which you use to store items you find along your journey. And the backpack is also what you're equipping your trinkets to. And the trinkets are passive abilities given to you by Dis as you collect these things called dark bits around the world to level up Hop. Every time you collect enough dark bits, You get a level, and the reward is talking to Dis and then getting a selection of a new trinket. And the trinkets might help Hop maneuver faster. They might help Hop earn more money. They might help him become more durable, etc. And there's this money system that allows for purchasing upgrades and outfits. You can dye your outfits. You can mix and match outfit pieces to customize Hop to your liking. There are also bugs to collect in this game. This game has bugs in it, and you can grab them with your tongue, and you can track the collection of them in a conservatory. You can also eat the bugs for extra stamina. You're shaking your head.
I still haven't forgiven you.
Oh, no. What? You haven't forgiven me for what?
For eating that beautiful butterfly.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It looked so tasty. I had to.
Unreal.
I had to.
Bring this energy in here.
I'm sorry. Disco just unplugs the recording equipment. It storms off. Yes, there are a lot of bugs in this game, and you pick up bugs in this game, and Hop will comment on them, and he's like, "Oh wow, I know this bug. I think it's a caterpillar," and he's commenting on the world around him. So it's that kind of a wholesome feeling in this game. Your goal is to find all the airship parts by exploring the 3 major chapters of the game and return to your mother and sister, all while discovering the true purpose of Dis and why he kidnapped you. So this is what I liked about Big Hops. Big Hops feels like a grand adventure because there are so many different areas. I mentioned only 3 major areas, but within those areas, there are all kinds of characters and sub areas. When I think back to this game, I think of all the places I went to in the desert, all the places I saw in the ocean, all the places I saw in the mountain. And it feels like I went to more than double the number of chapters that this game has. It's really massive. And this is a compliment that the game feels like a grand adventure. It feels like Hop is going on this big journey, and I didn't get tired of that length. And it's just full of so many colorful characters too. They say the most unexpected things. There's a chapter where there's this character on top of a mountain, and he is saying, "Come on, please, Papa needs his milk." And you hear it as you're ascending this climb, and you're like, wait, what is that guy saying? And it's this guy yelling this, and you get to the top, and he's the guy you're looking for. They just say the most outrageous things sometimes in this game.
There's kids that bully you. I remember seeing that.
There are kids that bully you in the desert area. Yes, they say the most out of left field rude things. Actually, a lot of the time in this game, people are very standoffish and rude and mean to Hop, and it's kind of humorous, but also it's strange how often it happens. So I love the characters. They're just so colorful. They're animals. So for instance, you'll run into otters in the open ocean, and they're just all so weird, but adorably weird. Hop himself is adorable. He kind of yelps when he jumps and things. You'll do a roll jump and he'll go, "Yay!"
So when you were playing this, I believe I had said Croc Legend of the Gobos a couple of times because one of his little yelps sounds just like Croc. He's like,
yeah.
Wahoo!
Yes. So he says things like that throughout. I think this game feels really good to play too, especially with how the game mixes its movement mechanics together. So it is very possible in Big Hops that you could tongue swing on something. You could grab a veggie out of your backpack. You could throw it at a wall to create a platform. And then you could run on a wall to get to that platform, maybe free climb a little bit to close the gap, and then maybe jump and dive to reach another platform after you bounce on a mushroom or something. All these things can just flow together really well. It just feels like once you play this game for a few hours, it really starts to lock in. I started to roll jump everywhere. There's this challenge in the desert, and it's the only place where I found this challenge, but it's a challenge where you do an obstacle course and you have to go through these rings in record time for these characters, these NPCs. And I did this race so many times until I finally nailed it down, and it really asks you to master the roll jump. And I was wondering, why is there only one race in the game? That feels just kind of random.
Mhm.
But in hindsight, knowing that it happens in that first significant chapter, I think it's the game sort of teaching me to get more comfortable with the roll jump. And so once I mastered that, I could take that into the other two worlds. So I'm glad the game taught me those things. It just feels really good to play. This is one of my favorite feeling platformers from the last few years. If I go into dislikes, I would mention a few things. I would say that Big Hops tries a lot of things. It feels like a big gumbo of platforming and open world influences, but not all of them are strong. One example is in the desert chapter, there is a segment where you infiltrate a hideout and you have to use stealth, which isn't really an official mechanic in the game. You just have to like avoid being seen, and it feels like it drags the momentum of the game down quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It never happens again after that, though. So it's just an instance of the game's going to do this thing in this section for like 30 minutes to an hour, and you're never going to do that thing again. And in the next chapter, you're going to do completely other things that you didn't do in the first chapter. So it's always trying new things. And because of that, it's just not always going to be an A+ in all of them. The trinkets are also a little unwieldy due to how many of them you get, how few you can equip, and only being able to equip them at particular times. So I think this just could have been a little bit cleaner and smoother with how you equip the trinkets. I was always looking at my trinkets after unlocking them and figuring out which ones I should use with me. The longer you play this game, the more trinket slots you unlock to wear more trinkets, but you end up getting a few dozen trinkets. And so you're only able to equip them at dis, and you can't just pull open your backpack
Right.
and equip them anytime. So I thought maybe that system needed a little bit more work. The bugs too in this game, and I'm not talking about the insects, I'm talking about like glitches and things.
Okay.
I had some things happen where items would disappear or my outfit items wouldn't unequip when I wanted them to. So I was wearing a hat on a hat. There was a hat that was basically like glued to my head and I couldn't take it off. So little things like that just sort of added up.
That happened to me in Going Under, but I actually really loved it.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's a charming thing. Sometimes it's like part of the fun. But another one is that I got stuck in the floor in a level, and there is a reset option in the pause menu where you can reload where you are, but just like place hop in a safer spot in case you get screwed. Well, when I did that, I was still stuck in the floor, just like 5 feet away. So I think I had to quit the game and reload or something.
I think I was there for that.
You might have seen
Yeah.
that, yeah. Some of these things might be smoothed out because I played the game close to launch. This game was worked on for quite a number of years, I think 7 years or so. So it's been in development for a long time by a very talented and passionate team that loves platformers. They really wanted to just put their all into a 3D platformer. And I think it really shows in Big Hops. It's full of fresh ideas. It's an alluring combination of many things I love from these kinds of games. It has tons of flavors going on at once. Not all the flavors are my favorite, but I think that's understandable when you're seeing how many flavors are in what I call a 3D platformer gumbo here. So I was actually going to rate this an 8.5 out of 10. I'm going to go up to a 9.
Oh, that was my initial guess, and then I changed it to 8.5.
That's funny. I saw your screen.
Did you
in the
really?
reflection of your glasses.
Oh.
No.
Oh, good. I was totally looking at safe stuff earlier. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 for me. It's playable on PC, which is the version I played, Switch and PS5.
You know, I'm thinking about, not to steal the spotlight a little bit, I'm kind of thinking about bumping up Windswept too,
Oh,
to the 8.5.
yeah, 8.5?
Because I think
do it.
objectively it is a better game than our featured game today.
Fair.
Just, I'll say,
Yeah.
like on a technical level, it is just like really hard, which is difficult for me to get over.
That's fair.
Anyways, back into Big Hops.
So officially 8.5.
Officially 8.5.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
It's on my top list. It's still next to 8.0s, but that's neither here nor there. So I only have 2 questions. Most of what I saw in Big Hops was pretty much near the beginning of the game in the world where everybody was a rabbit
Yep.
And so at that point, I thought that the game decided all of the NPCs will be animals that jump. So I was expecting maybe fleas or something in another world, or kangaroos or something like that. What are the actual other animals in the other worlds?
Yeah, so in the water world, I remember primarily otters who are on these like oil rigs, and you're in like an open ocean basically, but you're climbing these like big structures that the otters work on. And then in the mountain area, I remember lots of bats who are in like caves. They have like a little community at one point. There's a band that you interact with. So I think those are the primary animals you run into.
And then how many bugs are there?
Ooh, how many bugs? I actually don't know the number, but Big Hop's Conservatory, I'm doing a search. This might not actually be information you can find because it's
so new.
It's so new and
I
niche.
saw about 3 different bugs, I would say.
There are dozens.
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 Okay, good.
Dozens of bugs, and they range from bugs that crawl to bugs that fly. You got butterflies, you got...
Do they got the mantis? They got my boy the mantis in there?
Maybe somewhere. I don't recall it at the moment. There are some common bugs like, ladybugs and bees and things like that. But then there are some more obscure bugs that I had actually not heard of before. So, yeah.
I think I saw a weevil, actually. That's
there
probably
you go.
an obscure one.
Yeah, that's a more obscure one for sure.
Yeah. And then there's at least one less malachite butterfly in the world.
Oh, but the next time I found a malachite butterfly, I didn't eat it. I released it back into its home.
As you should.
Yes. He's just staring daggers at me.
I guess my next question is, how dare you? How dare you?
Now, when you eat a bug, there is a usefulness. It gives you here's the thing. My belief is that you can't get everything in this game, including some of the rare collectibles. I forgot to mention there are things like mixtapes. There are tapes that you can collect that are like the soundtrack of the game. Mm-hmm. And they're in sometimes really dastardly hidden places.
Oh, you know what? Windswept had that too. I forgot about that.
Oh,
That's they don't register it on the like stage select screen like the other collectibles, but you can do that. Anyways.
Yeah. Wow. There's a lot of similarities across platforms,
might be
honestly.
the most synergistic episode of Underplayed.
Yeah, this is like our platformer special episode. But when you eat a bug, it gives you an extra full meter of stamina. Meaning if you're climbing a rock face and you can't quite get to a ledge, if you have eaten a bug, and you can eat up to 3 bugs and save 3 stamina meters worth of stamina, you will be able to just keep climbing. And so that's how I was able to get things that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to get. So I think if you want to do everything in the game, you probably do have to eat bugs.
Yeah, I mean, he is a frog. He is a frog.
He's a frog.
It didn't have to be the malachite butterfly. It could have been a grasshopper.
What doesn't help is that the bugs are like picked up by Hop, and he's like commenting on them. He's like, oh, I know what this is. And then they also have these big cute eyes, right? They're adorable. He's holding them in front of you. And I did this thing with my chat where I'd be like, all right, chat, eat or yeet. Eat means I eat it. Yeet means I throw the bug back into the wild. And a lot of times it would be eat.
Yeah.
Because
monsters.
I know, chat was ravenous. But those are our secret games, Windswept and Big Hops. Let's move on to our review of Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. It is our featured game. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is a 2019 platformer developed by Playtonic Games, the developers behind the first Yooka-Laylee game, of course, and it was published by Team 17. The game synopsis from the Steam storefront reads, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is a brand new 2.5D platformer from some of the key creative talent behind Donkey Kong Country. As the colorful buddy duo, you must tackle a series of stunning 2.5D levels and explore a puzzling 3D overworld rich with secrets and surprises. So, in Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, we continue playing as our characters Yooka and Laylee. Yooka is a green chameleon. Laylee is a purple bat. I forgot this, but Laylee is female.
Yep, I remember
Yeah,
this
I
too.
didn't remember that. And Yooka and Laylee arrive in the Royal Stingdom to help Queen Phoebe take down the evil Capital Bee, who has created a device called the Hive Mind in order to control all the bees. If Capital B has all the bees, I believe he can take over the world or something, or he can use them as his like workforce so that he can do his evil doings, right?
Right.
So that's why he wants the bees. And Queen Phoebe has a bee-talion shield of bees that she gives to Yooka and Laylee. Basically a bunch of bees that will protect them. But Capital B steals the bee-talion using the hive mind device. And Capital B then retreats to his impossible lair, which Yooka and Laylee can attempt to navigate. And the game does have you actually jump into that impossible lair right off the bat to try your best. But as soon as they fail, they're pulled away by Phoebe into the overworld. And from there, Phoebe opens chapters to other worlds where Capital B has trapped individual bee-talion bees. And so your goal is to navigate the overworld, unlock all the chapters, platform through them, and rescue the bee-talion to provide you a greater chance at succeeding in the impossible lair to stop Capital B.
Cool. For gameplay, you mostly take control of Yooka. These two are actually barely separate characters. Yooka gives you access to your jump, tail whip, and a rolling technique. While you have Laylee with you, you also have access to a short glide and something called the Buddy Slam, which is just a ground pound. If you take damage as the duo, Laylee will be startled and fly off. You do have a short window of time where you can try to catch Laylee and get that extra hit point and that moveset back. But if you don't catch her in time, Yooka will be on his own until you locate a bell, which will alert Laylee to your location and you'll get her back. Otherwise, you'll have to start over at a checkpoint, which in this game are called checkmates, which I didn't necessarily realize right away, but they have a name. Occasionally, you do also swim. Like in Windswept, you will also be able to locate 5 coins throughout each level. These are usually hidden and occasionally require you to do some sort of platforming challenge. These will be used to pay Trouser in the overworld in order to get through paywalls. And at the end of each level, you rescue one of the bee soldiers, and those will act as an additional hit point in the not-so-impossible layer version of the impossible layer.
Right.
And that's just for all of the traditional side-scrolling levels. We mentioned the overworld. Here you have access to many of the same moves, but in a more like limited scale. Like you can do the roll, but you only roll like one time instead of this really quick multiple roll. The jump is shorter. Don't have access to the glide. But the overworld is a bit of a top-down-ish 3D space. And here you will access all of the different levels, which again are called chapters in this game. And you will locate several secrets by solving clues and some small platforming puzzles. This is where you find all your tonics, essentially. But you also will interact with elements of the overworld that might change the nature of one of the levels. So for an example, one of your chapter books might be just on the ground in a canal where water used to be. You can find a way to turn the water back on, and then once that water is flowing over that chapter, it will change the level. So you'll have access to an alternate version of that level.
That level will now be a waterified version.
Yes.
It'll be a flooded version of the level that you just played.
All 20 of the chapters have some alternate version that you have to solve some sort of puzzle to activate that alternate version.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to talk about those and maybe the ones that we remember, the ones that we thought were clever maybe in a bit.
But that's all I wrote down for gameplay. Do you have anything that I forgot about?
Did you mention like quills and
I didn't.
buying stuff?
There's quills. They act as a currency. You can find them littered throughout the world the same way you do like Mario coins. There's also like, I believe they're called ghost quills.
Yes.
And these are like sentient living quills that appear in different colors. And depending on what color they are, give you quills in a different way. So there's like the yellow ghost quill, which will create a trail of quills behind it. And so you have to get all of the quills in the trail. And if you do that, the yellow quill turns into like
Bonus
20
quills.
or 30 quills.
Yeah.
Sometimes one of the trouser coins. You know?
Right. Yeah.
The green one creates a massive platforming trail for you to follow at a really quick speed on a timer. And so you just follow that and get to the green quill before the timer runs out.
Yeah.
So they all do something a little bit different. And then quills are used to purchase the tonics that you find in the overworld.
Yeah. So first you have to find the tonic, then you have to use quills to unlock them to be able to have a new passive ability. Sometimes the abilities help you, sometimes they make the game harder, and sometimes they're just aesthetic.
Yeah, the cosmetic. Yeah.
So also, this is the second Yooka-Laylee game. This is, I think, what is deemed a spin-off, not necessarily a sequel, but I would call it a spin-off because it's such a different perspective compared to Yooka-Laylee. Yooka-Laylee was a 3D platformer. This is a 2.5D side-scrolling platformer for the most part, but it also has the overworld thing going on. So I think this feels like a Donkey Kong Country-like game in all the chapters, all the platforming you're doing. But then in the overworld, it actually feels like a modern top-down Zelda game. Like it feels like Echoes of Wisdom or like Link's Awakening to me. And I've played those games, and that I just was immediately reminded of those as I was solving puzzles and exploring all the different areas and unlocking those paywalls to get to new areas. Also, recently, there was a remake of the first Yooka-Laylee game. Yooka-Laylee was released in October. So this series is still kicking, you know,
To some degree, at least.
Playtonic is still doing their Yooka-Laylee thing, honestly. And Playtonic Games is composed of former Rare employees who made Donkey Kong Country, as we heard in the Steam synopsis, which is really cool. So you and I are both fans of David Wise. You know, David Wise is making music in this game.
Yep.
As well as Grant Kirkhope is making music here.
David Wise made a name for himself back in the Donkey Kong Country games. And Grant Kirkhope comes from Banjo-Kazooie, as well as the first Yooka-Laylee. So that's where those names come from and why they're important to have on the team for the Yooka-Laylee games.
Absolutely. Now, DiscoCola, we've both played through Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. I know you got through the Impossible Lair.
I did.
Now that you've gotten through it and played this game, what do you think of this game?
You know, I'm really curious about what you think of this game. I have no clue. You haven't dropped any hints about how you feel about this game.
I didn't stream it.
Yeah, I know that you love Donkey Kong Country games, but I also know that you didn't love the first Yooka-Laylee. So I really don't know.
I didn't know how I would like this game either. There are parts where I still kind of don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly. But I want to hear what you think first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking forward to it, mostly because of the Impossible Lair and how hard I thought it was going to be. But I am happy to say that overall I had a pretty positive experience. It may not sound like it as I talk about it, but for things I did like, I actually do like the idea of the Impossible Lair, just having this challenging level, possible to beat the game right away at the beginning. Right. Unlikely as it is possible. And the funny anecdote for those that didn't adopt the game early, that are playing it later like us, in the original release of the game, there's a special tonic that you get. Initially, it was for beating the Impossible Lair with none of the battalion, without, the first time you go there. Like, you don't even leave the Impossible Lair. You beat it on the first try.
Okay.
Which means you have to go through that tutorial section every time, too.
Every time you fail. It's okay.
Yeah. They patched that out, apparently, at some point. And so...
They patched out the tonic?
No, the tonic is still there, but they patched out that you had to restart and beat the Impossible Lair on your first try.
Oh, so that's what became the true Impossible Lair thing.
Exactly.
Okay. So... what we're talking about, listeners, is a second ago, Disco said the not so impossible lair. That's the version of the Impossible Lair where you can go in with your battalion that you collect from the levels to give you extra hits. You can actually disable the battalion and do the true Impossible Lair, which is where you don't have any protective shield. You're doing the hardest, longest level in the game, and you have to do it basically perfectly.
Yes. So that will grant you a special extra tonic that is not necessary for
Interesting.
trophies.
Okay.
For those of you that are collecting trophies.
That's good. Yeah, I was looking at the trophies. It's not too bad in this game.
I ultimately decided to do it on my main profile. So anyways, I do like the idea of the impossible layer. You can beat it on the first try if you're just if you're that millionth monkey with a typewriter, you wrote Shakespeare.
Maybe billionth, maybe trillionth. I don't know.
It's pretty rough,
Yeah.
but it's a cool idea. I again, like in Windswept, I like collecting the coins. It's fun to keep my eye out for them, and gives me a sense for how far I've progressed in the level. If I'm like getting to a point where I'm really stressed out and I get coin number 4, it's like, okay, the end is in sight. So
Right.
I do like the sequential coins idea here. In the 2D worlds, in the actual chapters, momentum feels really good. You can get zipping around everywhere pretty quick. Sometimes you can overdo it and get yourself into a lot of trouble really easily. But when you're rolling and when you're flying through the air and gliding out of a roll, momentum feels really good. The moveset feels pretty solid. I want to point out one level in particular called Conveyor Chaos.
Oh yeah.
While
Just played that the other night.
my feelings about it are less about the conveyors. I felt that this level was like really well designed. It was giving me everything I needed at all the right times, and it stood out among all of them as just like a well-designed level. Everything made sense. All the jumps felt right. It was just everything, all the placement of it was good. And then my favorite thing about Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Layer is actually the overworld. I love finding most of the overworld secrets and changing all the various chapters and like, what's the secret to, I can see that, there's this electrical box above this chapter and like, okay, what's the puzzle to get this chapter to change?
Obviously, the alternate version is going to be an electrified version.
Yeah.
How do I electrify that box that then affects the chapter book?
And in many cases, that's just like a fun little puzzle in its own right. And it's just, the overworld is quite a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a clever addition to what is a 2D side-scrolling game.
I'll say this feels like two games kind of smashed together.
It does.
It feels like that overworld, maybe they had like a whole part of their team just working on that, and then they had another team working on the platforming part, and then they just kind of mashed them together. It almost feels that way.
That's not a lot of likes, though. I am going to move on to dislikes. Even though I enjoy collecting the coins, many of them are dastardly hidden. There will be times where you kind of have to like trust fall into a place. And so because I'm taught that, anytime I'm near a chasm or an open pit and it looks like there might be something down there, I kind of like jump into the pit and I'll risk death to do it. But many times it's just a pit. And so I'm dying just to probe, see where hidden things are.
Interesting. I was not doing the trust falls because I felt like times where things were hidden, there was a little hint, like a quill might be poking out at the bottom of the screen, and that's telling me like, oh, there's something down there. There might be times where you do need to do a blind fall, but I feel like Donkey Kong Country is notorious for that much more than this game. I think Donkey Kong Country has more instances of just like, you just need to do a blind jump down and hope that you're going to be fine. And there's going to be a invisible barrel.
There were a couple invisible things in here. Yeah, I'm thinking of like levels that have pinwheel platforms.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
They were like, there might be something down there because this wheel is like quite a bit lower. That might be indicating to me if you're jumping onto another pinwheel right below yourself or something.
And sometimes there are hidden things up above.
Yeah.
You have to ride the pinwheel all the way to the top, and then you start to see the bottom edge of something you can get. So sometimes you do have to like poke around and go all the way around just so you can see as much as you possibly can.
Yeah. There was another example today. I was playing with my kid, and there was this like little troll enemy walking, and he was walking through this doorway where it looks like you can get up on top of the little doorway if you hop on this enemy.
Yeah.
And I tried and failed a couple times. And I was like, I didn't get up there. I know there's a coin up there. So I
Yes.
rolled down the hill and killed myself to get back to the checkpoint so I could try again.
Yes.
And I gave up and got to the end of the level and got all the coins because there was nothing up there. So that's just another example of like,
Yeah.
it's different than the trust fall, but still kind of the same idea. Additionally, in certain levels, there are doorways, and I'll never know, like, should I keep going right or do I go in the doorway? Which one has the next coin? Oftentimes, I'll pick the wrong one, and once you do, it's a one-way trip.
Shoot. Yeah.
So that means I have to revisit the level if I want to collect those coins. Next, I take hits that I don't think are fair. This is especially true in the impossible layer. Like, there's a lot of hits that I've taken that I'm like, I don't think so, game, but go off, I guess.
Yeah. Like your hitbox feels like it's way too big sometimes.
Yeah.
Or I just feel like the game puts you in positions where you have to take a hit sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Next, I equipped a tonic that's supposed to help me find secrets. I'm not really noticing any difference at all.
Is this the one where Laylee makes like a little sound?
Does she make a sound? Because I haven't heard it yet. And it might be that I can't hear it, but
Maybe.
I haven't noticed it being different, and I've had it equipped for...
You equip it and Laylee's like, just screaming.
I'd prefer that to what's going on, but anyways, I'm not noticing a difference, and I guess that goes to the rest of the tonics, and that a huge majority of them are cosmetic, and that's kind of disappointing. I really don't care to equip more than 90% of the tonics. There's like 4 that I care about.
Yeah, there are dozens of them, and even just collecting them often, you'll get the name of the tonic on a little celebration screen. Like, you found a tonic, and it's the neo-noir filter or whatever. And sometimes the name of the tonic is self-explanatory. Other times, I want to know a little bit more about it. And then you have to pull open the tonic menu, and you have to scroll through all your tonics and find the one. And it's a big menu because there are a lot of tonics.
There's like 60 something, yeah.
And they each cost a certain number of quills to then actually use and unlock. But yeah, it's not always immediately apparent as far as like what's going on.
Yeah. And like I said, so many of our cosmetic, like I want to equip the Game Boy Colors and Game Boy Resolution ones at the same time, but I have to buy them first, and then I have to equip them and go into a level, and it's just like, I don't care about cosmetics enough to do that. Some levels I think get to be a little bit too long, or maybe they just feel long because I'm not finding the coins, or maybe I'm just like not in the mood where I'm just in a mood where I'm wanting to be done playing. I don't know, but sometimes I just find myself dreading my playtime for whatever reason, which is not the best sign. And then this is something I can't quite explain, but something about how the stages are lit, or maybe the way the characters are animated, or maybe a combination of both. Sometimes it just kind of feels soulless. It's just like you dropped this character in a box that's kind of decorated and lit sort of from a really powerful light source, but just one. Something about it feels weird to me.
I kind of get that.
So in the end, it sounds like I had a lot more complaints than praises, and that's true technically, but I did find that overall I liked the game, and I do prefer it to the first Yooka-Laylee by a pretty decent margin. For the most part, though, I did kind of dread turning the game on most nights, not because I thought the game was bad or even all that hard, but because I just found that it was stale at a lot of points. I do find that I actually do want to complete the game, though, like getting all the coins. I want to do that. I want to get all the tonics except for that super special golden tonic. All in all, I think this was an overall well-designed game, and I'm confident that I would have liked it a lot more if I was playing it casually. I'm going to give it an 8.0 out of 10.
All right. Nice. I'm glad you overall enjoyed it. I'm not going to have too many like differing opinions from you, I don't think, but I did like this game. I liked it more than Yooka-Laylee. I will say my favorite thing about this game is the concoction of what this game is. And I love the idea that the impossible lair is this thing that's always available to you as something you can try from the get-go. Even if you fail on that first time after the tutorial and Queen Phoebe brings you back out into the overworld, and she's like, all right, go find some bees, you silly duo. You got to get some beetalions to protect you. You can say, no, I want to try that hard level again. And you can just keep trying it like a sicko if you wanted to. And that is such a bold idea to me. I love that. And that you could make the decision at any time, even after you do all the chapters or do some of the chapters, you can just decide, hey, I now have 20 bees. Let me go try the impossible. Give it a shot. Maybe I can at least learn more of it so that when it's time to really seriously attempt it, I know some more of it, right? So I just love that that's always there to you. It's a novel and interesting idea. I think there are so many imaginative ideas for alternate versions of the chapters. The water example is a great one, a great early one of a tide comes in, or you pull a switch and water comes flowing onto the chapter book, and now it's a water level. There are other ones like there are ones where there's a gust of wind always, and you have to kind of deal with that. There's one where it's a gooey version of the level. There's honey everywhere.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's everything's sticky, and now you can like stick to walls in a new way, but also when you're on the ground, you can't move as quickly. That introduces new ideas. Every time they do an alternate version, I think they're playing with really fun ideas. The game also has the overworld exploration and the puzzles in the style of a top-down Zelda game that I didn't anticipate, and those aspects were my favorite part too. I freaking love that. The world feels like this big puzzle box, and it's just the right amount of difficulty. You don't really have to turn your brain on too hard for it. There are some puzzles.
There's some clues that I just neglected to solve because I'm like, I'm just going to look this one up.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of that for sure. But it's a lot of like, you have one tool available to you. Maybe it's like a water plant on a bush. So you can like grab this water fruit and throw it at something. Well, that could extinguish a fire. And then when you extinguish that fire, that unlocks a crate that you can push off a ledge. And now you have an extra platform to jump to. What can I do with that? And you push the crate around until you find the spot where it goes. And then you realize, oh, I used this crate to get over to this platform on the other side. And now I'm in a completely different place. And then I find a bomb flower and I spit the bomb at a breakable wall. And now I've found a shortcut to get back up here. I don't need that crate anymore. So now I can use that crate to put onto the switch. So, it feels so good to figure it all out.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I kind of just wish they would make a Yooka-Laylee that's just this overworld exploration. I would freaking dig that.
You know, I listened to the Yooka-Laylee episode of Underplayed about 5-6 days ago.
Okay.
And there's a section in that episode where we talk about the isometric level in that game and how we were both like sort of on the same team. It's like, I would play a game with this concept.
So they kind of ran with that more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad they did, because it is a significant part of this game. I'd say it's 30 to 40% of the game, maybe.
Yeah. And more if you want to get all 48 Bs, because you'd have to solve a bunch of puzzles.
You do. And I got to the 40 B count, and I really committed to getting all 48 Bs before I started really trying the impossible lair. I was like, I want to give myself the best chance, damn it. And I also want to just see all what this game has to offer. And so into the latter hours of my playtime, I was still doing the overworld puzzles. I was in that northern section past the secret last paywall to unlock more stuff. And the puzzles get, pretty complex up there.
They get rough.
But I've learned from playing the previous parts of the game how the game works, how the game thinks with its puzzles.
Yep.
And so the game starts with those overworld puzzles that are relatively easy, and you get harder puzzles as you go, and it just makes sense. The ramp up in difficulty feels great. The level design of the stages is really layered. I think there's a lot of interesting detail in the levels for me. And I think they at least look distinct across all the levels. You said like it feels like you're dropped into a box and it feels a little soulless sometimes. I think there's part of that for me that's like the speed of the game, the energy of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's to do with visuals, but sometimes it's to do with just how the gameplay feels. For me, the visuals kind of hit. I mean, I like the look of these levels, especially with the ideas it plays with the alternate chapters. I really liked the music in this game.
Yeah.
By Kirkhope and Wise. I thought it was catchy and fun. I want to go back and listen to the soundtrack, actually. And I found myself like turning up the volume. Also love the ways Impossible Lair remixes characters and ideas from the first Yooka-Laylee. Another thing that's just really clever about this game is it takes all these colorful side characters and it gives them a new role in Impossible Lair. A lot of them are in the overworld. You mentioned the ghostly quills, right? In all the levels. That's taking a note from the ghosts that we find in Yooka-Laylee, right? It's just finding a place and a reason for all of, like Trouser's the paywall guy. Of course, Trouser's the paywall guy. They're playing to their strengths. They have all these characters in their back pocket, right? And they're just using them again. I think that's really fun. When I get to dislikes for Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, I just think generally the platforming, the movement, and the overall game speed when you're in the chapters, when you're platforming, when you're doing the 2.5D platforming stuff, I just feel like it lacks fluidity. It does not feel smooth to me. In no part of this game when I'm platforming do I feel like I am playing a Donkey Kong Country-like game. Even though it is styled after that, it doesn't feel like that because it just feels like you don't move fast. It feels a little floaty. The game often stops you from going as fast as you can because you're going to run into a door that you need to roll through, or there's going to be a laser that's on a timer and you have to stand there and wait for the laser, right? So I just think the game does not want you to go fast.
Yeah.
I think the game wants you to be methodical with your platforming. And that's not always what I am in the mood for. And so you're doing a lot of waiting. You're doing a lot of slower movements. You're calculating, which is fine in small doses for me. I just wish the game had this better sense of kineticism and movement. Also, you mentioned the tonics a second ago. I wholeheartedly disagree with this idea that we have penalties for activating tonics. Think about this. You have a tonic that makes you move a little faster. The game's not just going to give that to you. You have to find that tonic, right? Maybe you solve a puzzle in the overworld and you've unlocked the tonic. That's great. Like, I've earned that tonic. I've at least collected it. Then the game says you have to pay quills that you've found in the levels. You have to pay hundreds of quills. Oh, okay. You might have enough because you do collect quite a lot of quills if you're being methodical with levels. You pay for the tonic. Fine. Now I can equip it. Well, you can only equip 3 tonics at the start. Okay, I get it. There are a lot of tonics, so I have to be careful. I have to choose what I want here. And then the game says, if you equip this one that makes you go faster, any tonic that makes you better at the game, you're going to earn less quills in the levels.
Like, you still pick them up.
You still pick up quills.
But at the end of the level, you lose a certain amount.
If there's a 0.3 deduction in quills, that means it's going to take 30% of the quills that you earned in that level at the end.
Yep.
And if you have 3 tonics equipped that are all beneficial, it's going to add up that penalty. And so you might only earn 20% of the quills, and then you're not able to unlock more tonics. So I feel like that is just so many penalties to using this major system of the game that I don't agree with. I don't think the game should penalize me, ask so much of me to use these tonics, to the point where I never equipped tonics in this game. I didn't equip a single tonic ever.
Wow.
I like tried one out in one level, didn't like that it was deducting quills. I was like, the game is designed to be beaten without any tonics. I'm just not going to do it.
Wow.
I was so put off by that idea that I didn't do any tonics ever.
I decided that I didn't, because so many of the tonics were cosmetic. I was like, you know what? I'll take the loss on quills for an extra long glide because that was valuable to me in platforming.
That's fair. That's fair. And there are some that are alluring, but once I got into the habit of not using them, I was like, why do it now? So.
Interesting thing, while we're on the topic of tonics, you do not get to equip any in the not so impossible layer.
That's
anyway.
right.
So like
That's right. So if you kind of are using them as a crutch and you get used to them, that's going to make it harder in the impossible layer.
I didn't notice for a couple of attempts. I'm like, why am I not getting as far with my glide? And I realized that it's not active.
Well, the game never tells you.
It doesn't tell you.
I think it should warn you.
It shows. I mean, it tells you in the absence of allowing you to equip tonics at the start of a level.
Yeah, but
you don't notice that.
You don't notice that. That's not actually telling you though. So I think it should at least say that in some way. So that didn't affect me, but my recommendation is if you like the idea of tonics, try them, but also remember that they're not going to apply in the impossible layer. And so in a way, because I wasn't using tonics the whole game, I was kind of conditioning myself in a way for the impossible layer.
For sure.
So I guess there's something there. But did I even know that? No. I actually did have the thought leading up to the impossible layer, like, oh, I could try a few tonics. But yeah, I didn't. So yeah, I don't have many dislikes for this game, but the dislikes I have are pretty significant, especially with the platforming and the movement and just how this game feels. It feels pretty slow to me. I mean, do you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't necessarily agree that the movement itself is slow. It's just that the levels are designed to punish you if you go too fast, which I do agree with.
Yeah, like enemies in your way. Sometimes sections of the levels that just will not proceed until you wait for something to happen.
Because there's a lot of sections where the levels are designed for you to roll really fast, keep that momentum into a jump and a glide, and then you bop on an enemy and bop on another enemy and bop on another enemy. There are sections of this game that do that.
Yeah.
Where that momentum is like baked in as a possible way to get around. But you're right. So many, I'm thinking of the level I played today where you have to wait for these giant cogs that block you from progressing when their teeth are blocking the only narrow passageway.
That's a great example. That's like a prime example of it. And the moments where you're bopping on enemies and gaining that momentum, I felt that building. I was like, yes, game, keep doing this. And then it would stop. Yeah. You know, it was short-lived. It's like, it's like, you know, it's edging me with with these ideas. So overall, the 2D platformer sicko in me enjoys this quite a bit more than the first Yooka-Laylee. The chapters are imaginative. The game is bursting with ideas that gel together, in my opinion. My primary wish is that the game could just feel tighter and faster. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10.
All righty.
So, I don't know. We could talk about our experience with the impossible layer and what that felt like if you want. I feel like this is the part of the game that everyone has a slightly different story about. Like, when did you start tackling it? How many bees did you have when you finished? Or how many bees did you start with? Like, how many times did you have to retry certain sections?
I think the first time I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a real shot. I think I had about 24 bees.
Oh.
And I didn't make it far. I think I gave it another try, and I made it to the second section, maybe.
Oh, nice.
And here's where I'll note that the not so impossible layer will allow you to skip a section for, let's say you get to the second section, and when you got to the second section, you only had 3 bees left.
Mm-hmm.
You can skip that whole first section and select the second section with 3 bees.
Yeah, so it's basically like putting a bookmark in your previous attempt, your previous best attempt.
Bookmark.
I didn't even try to do that.
Hell yes.
It just came out that way.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because these levels are books, listener.
Yes.
Reminder.
Right.
But yeah, and I think that's a really cool idea, and it always saves your best attempt, not your most recent attempt.
Yes, that's great. Love
Yeah.
it. I love that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But, you know, I got to second section with 3 Bs. I'm not beating that. So
You're not beating that.
exactly. I think I maybe gave it another shot around 30 something, but then I was like, you know what? 48, I'll just get all of them.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time. It did take me a long time. It was very difficult. I managed to get to section 2 with like 42 Bs left, which I was pretty proud of.
Yep.
But then the next section after that was like 13 Bs when I got to that section. And then I was like, I want to get higher than 13, but I couldn't do it. Every time I retried, it was like 10, 2, 9, you know. So I was just like, all right, I'm beating the game, 13 Bs, starting from section 3.
Wow.
And that's what I did.
Wow, that's crazy. So I'll let you know right now, it's Wednesday today. On Sunday, I didn't have this game. I didn't have the Impossible Lair beaten. On Monday, I didn't have all 48 Bs. I got the 8 more Bs I needed. I think it was 8 more to get to 48 on Monday, just the other day. And that night on Monday, I did beat the Impossible Lair. I had tried it several times before, but I was kind of down to the wire, and I was pitting out a little bit.
Yeah,
I was thinking like, oh, I might not be able to finish the Impossible Lair before Wednesday, and I did. The first time I tried the Lair, I had 36 Bs, so I had more than you had when you first started attempting it. I got to the boss that begins the 3rd section, but I only had like 2 Bs left, you know, so he killed me. And then I went back and I just kept getting Bs. So I never saw the 3rd section till I had 48 Bs. And then I noticed that bookmarking the game does, where it remembers the largest number of Bs you had to start each section, and it gives you the option to start those sections with those Bs. And you start to play this game where it's like, do I just keep playing the first section to try to keep as many of my 48 Bs going into the second section? Or do I just keep grinding on the second section checkpoint, the 3rd section checkpoint with like 13 Bs?
Yeah.
And so I did go back and forth between those strategies.
Yep.
I went just from the beginning, and I ended up getting through with like only losing 8 Bs.
Nice.
So I started, you know, the second checkpoint with 40 Bs. That's great. That's a great place to be.
This is going to be a long episode, folks.
Yeah. I've refrained from using
I've
bee
noticed.
puns. Yes. You see it in my eyes.
Yep.
My eyebrow kind of like raises a little bit. The second checkpoint, the second part, I think the Impossible Lair has 4 parts.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't remember like exactly how the 4th part works in mechanics. It's shorter, I think.
It's shorter. It mainly involves the escape, like the
Yeah.
countdown timer.
Yeah. Okay.
Second part, I think, is the hardest.
I agree.
What the hell?
I lost 30-something beats there on my best attempt.
It has ice. It has spikes that you need to duck under. It has guys coming at you under the spikes that you have to deal with. It has platforms that move really slowly as things are shooting you. It has buzz saws and saw blades that move up and down. It has propeller guys that hit you as you're trying to ride elevators up, and you have to jump over them or duck under them to avoid them. It's so many things want to hit you, and it's a lot of ice and like buzz saws. It's just, this is the hardest section, and it's only the second one. And so going into the third one, I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
And then the third one's actually kind of easier. It's manageable for me.
Yeah, it was still rough. It was still pretty bad, but it was like, I'm not losing 30 Bs here.
Yes. So I ended up really spending a lot of time on that second part. Then I found part 3 easier. And I ended up doing the fourth section in the first try because it was mostly just like going fast. It finally gave me the thing I wanted. In the very last section, it does go fast for a long time. So, I finally got that fulfillment. No more edging.
Sweet release.
I
don't know if I want that.
I was about to say something about honey. I don't know. We're going through really fast, and I got it on the first try. But when I finished, I only had 4 Bs left, so it was tight.
I think I had 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've looked up some forum posts of people who finished and like what their stories were. I saw a lot of people say like, yeah, I had 5 Bs left. I had 4 Bs left, just a few. So it is worth it to get all 48 Bs, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I, just looking at how close it was on the calendar, I was like, God, I don't want to do this. I just need to get it done. I wanted to play something else, and I just wanted to get through it. So I was like, do I really have to get all 48? And I did. I did have to.
Yeah, you really do. It's good. It's a weird number, 48. But yeah. And some of the bees, we didn't mention this. Some of the bees are hidden in the overworld.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that right away.
Mm-hmm. I think that is playing into the idea of the top-down Zelda-like overworld puzzle solving. I think that's a nice reward. I actually did have to look up a few of those bees, though. Yeah,
There were like two, like you can see some of them, and like once you understand how to get one that you can see, you understand how to get the second one that you can see.
Right.
But there were some that were not visible to me at all, and I was like, how was I even supposed to know this one was here? Like I know the signposts give you clues about stuff, but those ones seemed too well hidden.
Yeah, and there are secret exits in a handful of levels. When you take those, they bring you back to the overworld for a bee there too. So some of the bees you find by exploring, some of them you have to actually go into the chapters, find a secret exit, but not all the chapters have secret exits. And so I had to look up one or two of those secret exits too, because they're pretty well hidden.
Yeah, one of them in particular, I remember like.
The one through the pipe?
I think so, yeah. I was
with this thing that falls?
I never would have.
Oh, yeah, that's hard.
And then once I did know, I like had to try it like 12 times.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept reloading that checkpoint. I was like, oh, I didn't, or it kills you if you don't
Yeah.
make it. Yeah, it's hard. Anything else to say about this game? I think we covered a lot in our individual thoughts, but anything else worth bringing up?
I don't know, man. No, not really. I just reiterate that I think this is the better of the two Yooka-Laylee games.
I do too. If they decide to try new ideas, like if they decide after remaking Yooka-Laylee with Yooka-Replaylee, if they want to do another Yooka-Laylee game, if they feel inspired to, go ahead. But I hope this means there's like an upward trend with quality and fun, so I hope maybe their next game is the best yet. But yeah, I'm curious to see what they do next. So we can call it there, I think.
I think so.
Okay, cool. Well, that is our review of Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. You can play it on PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. DiscoCola rated it an 8. I rated it a 7.5. That's the end of this episode of Underplayed. You can find more of our episodes at kzum.org/underplayed and on common podcast platforms. Our music was composed by Jack Rodenberg. Our art comes from Onimochi. Check out our show notes where you can find and follow us across social media. Underplayed is on Bluesky, Instagram, and Threads. You can also find my links down below. And I stream a variety of indie games on Twitch.
And I am at DiscoCola in many of those places that you can access with the browser. And I occasionally stream, but not often, but you can find me at DiscoCola on Twitch as well.
Next time, we will have 2 more secret games to review, a discussion with our guest, Jenny Olander, and our featured game will be Coffee Talk, a visual novel developed by Toge Productions. Until then, everyone, go bonk 'em!